My father was stumped. Like every father, itne paise mein gaadi le sakte the. And the boys took that as a green light and passport and visa to leave me and disappear with this chacha. I remember him. His image will never go. And he would cook food for me. He would stop me for hydration and this and keep asking me and then also say, "ये करने की ज़रूरत है क्या?" Hi, I'm Priyanka. I'm here on Spoked Out. I'm here to share my journey on motorcycles and of late my obsession and constant companion, that's off-road riding with Sameer.
Okay, so Priyanka, hi, welcome to Spoked Out. And of course, I've been a friend to you. You've been a friend to me for quite some time. And this is the first time we're going to be talking hardcore about motorcycles and what you do on them. So I'll be honest about one thing. When I came for that training, which we did, the Rallyscape, and I think that's the first time I met you, and I thought of you as just a support crew.
Yeah.
Of course, you were a support crew at that point in time. But then later on, when I got to know you a little more, and I went online and I followed you, and I saw all the stuff that you were doing, it just seems so hardcore, and I felt so bad for underestimating you. So just so we know better of what you're doing, can you just tell me what all are you doing on your motorcycles and just what is your background?
Right. So first of all, thank you for having me on Spoked Out. I've been watching the previous episodes and it's been very interesting to see a mix of conversation. So it's really great to be here.
Thank you.
Also, the Rallyscape edition, when you were there, I was and I still remain very much a learner. So I'm not right there yet. I'm not achieved anything great. But yeah, the good thing about that, I would say, circle of people who always participate in Rallyscape is they are by motorcyclists for motorcyclists. So everybody over there is a rider or a moto enthusiast in some shape or form. So that's one of the USPs of the Rallyscape training. What I have been doing is that I started riding off-road just for the fun of it, just to kind of get weekend riding or sort of weekend trail riding a little bit more enjoyable for me. It started with that very basic intention, had no plans of making anything out of it really, or that it ballooned to the proportion that it is today. And, it was like, it's like when a lion tastes blood. And then it picks up slowly. You have a few falls, you have some good days, some bad days, but then it kind of just latches on to you and doesn't leave you. So that's what the whole off-road riding and space has been for me.
Okay. So the way the lion tastes blood, you taste mud.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you couldn't
I kiss
get
earth
enough.
very often.
Often, yeah. I can see that you have come with some new injuries today.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll get to that pretty soon. But I know you train almost every day. But so when you train on the track, so what are you into? What do you call that? What is the phrase for it? What is the correct terminology for it?
Right. We just do off-road training.
Okay.
Off-road training or dirt bike training or dirt riding techniques. I mean, there's no technical term to it, but our focus is specifically off-road. Trying to understand terrain that's not laid out for you or tarmac. It's not predictable. It's not comfortable. And basically, off-road is like when it throws anything at you, how you are prepared to tackle the terrain. And of course, everybody's intention is that you don't let the bike rule you. You want to be the person who's controlling the motorcycle. But more often than not, we are letting the motorcycle do whatever it is. And we are frightened of the machine. We are frightened of the terrain. And to be a better rider, we are trying to kind of master all of it so that you are in control and it's an enjoyable process.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So that's what it is.
Doesn't this automatically become a very male-dominated thing, like being on motorcycles and roughing it out and having the falls that you have and sitting on tall bikes, which a little bit of throttle and they're just going to be out of control. Is it male-dominated? Because I don't know.
I would say it was. Simply because the visibility of something simple like when I started riding a motorcycle also, if you Google just any motorcycle, anything related to the motor space, you will see men because they have dominated the space for very long. But there have been a lot of women who are trailblazers, but those women were like, you could count them on your fingers. That's not the case today. Today, it's picked up a lot. Young girls as young as 10 years old, and probably even much younger when you look overseas, and when they start training, they probably ride motorcycles before they can walk, and they start early. The numbers have doubled and tripled, both outside as well as in India. Everybody, it's no longer a poster or just a dream or an aspiration. It's like a possibility. So you see a lot more women now on motorcycles, and they're not just stuck to moving on tarmac. They are going off-road. They're doing incredible things in different avenues of motorsport, whether it is endurance, whether it's even MTB, cycling, trials, and cross country and track racing. There are so many disciplines, and you see women everywhere. It's there's no space that they have not touched. The numbers are small, but they are growing healthily, and that's that's a very positive development.
That's pretty impressive. What has been your first memory or the earliest memory of being with a motorcycle or on a motorcycle? How did this start for you?
So, ironically, I have no history with motorcycles or two-wheelers, actually. Nobody in my family. We don't have any, I don't have any embellished backstory of my uncle, my grandfather. Nobody. We had no connection with motorcycles. The only thing I remember, if I really dig deep in my memory, is my uncle had a scooter, and I liked standing in the front or trying to crouch down and he would take us for a spin. But that was so sparingly, and that's it. That's the only two-wheeler connection in my life or with my family or anything to do with two-wheelers. So this obsession with the motorcycles and motor space has come out of left field. Like, people, even now, after many years, when they meet me, people who we don't connect on a daily basis, when they meet me, they're like, "You're on a motorcycle, like, never thought, how did that happen?" So the thing is that I was in Bangalore, and I think Triumph's first dealership had opened up in Bangalore. The first one or the only one at the time. This was many years ago, perhaps 2014. I could be getting the dates wrong. And I walked past the showroom, and usually you hear 5 and 6 year old kids. I was like this 20 something looking through the glass door, and I saw the Bonneville. This was a classic A3 Bonneville, the air cooled one. No electronics, no shenanigans, nothing. Just the basic classic bike.
It's the same one that you still have?
I don't have it anymore.
Okay, but you had the last time I saw it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I saw that motorcycle, and I thought it was beautiful. I just, something about that motorcycle just looked really beautiful. It stuck with me. I never knew the brand Triumph. I knew Harley Davidson, I knew Ducati because they are very popular, but I had no idea. That's how disconnected from the motorcycle space I was. So I just, out of curiosity, went home, Googled it. I saw Triumph. I started reading obsessively about the history, the story, etc. and all. But then when I went into the images, I saw a lot of women on Triumphs. Lots of women in Europe, and then I started reading about these blogs and old stories about women and different people who had done tours on Bonnevilles and during the war, etc., etc. And then it kind of, the rabbit hole opened and just went deeper and deeper. And also, it was probably my first time being exposed to women on motorcycles. Like, actually, that there are so many of them doing amazing things on it. So then I went to the year after, I went to the Triumph showroom in Bombay, and I looked at the motorcycles. I saw the pricing, and I said, yeah, this is not for me. And then I walked out. But I used to pass that showroom to get to my office. It was a couple of 100 meters from my office. So it was just like, going on the highway. So there was Kawasaki and Pinelli and Triumph, and I just look and keep going and keep going. So, where this is going, right? Yeah. So I started looking for a motorcycle, and Abir at the time was doing PR for the brand Triumph. So it just didn't leave me. Let me put it that way. And I thought it very wise to buy a 900cc motorcycle as my first bike ever.
Wow.
So I saved. For 2 years, I kept going to the showroom, hassling people, asking 10,000 questions. I liked the A3 because the wheelbase was smaller. It was a bike I saw and it stuck with me. I didn't think anything about any of the other motorcycles. They didn't even appeal to me. The adventure category was like, it didn't exist for me. And the A3 was there and the T100 was there. The T100 has a longer wheelbase and it's more touring friendly with a broader seat and all. But I didn't like that motorcycle. It was not for me. And I loved the Street Twin at the time. So they had launched the Street Twin. It was 9 point something, I think, on road. And it was way past my budget. Like the piggy bank could not expand any further, or I'd have to wait a few more years. So I obsessively started looking for a street twin across the country, in Kerala, in Delhi, and this and that. And I was like, please don't do that. Buy a motorcycle over here, and trying to reason with me and make me take sensible decisions. And then, long story short, after looking at a bunch of motorcycles, harassing a lot of people, I saw the T100 standing in the showroom. It previously belonged to a different gentleman. He had sparingly ridden it, which was yay for me. He took care of it, cleaned it, so it looks spanking new. I mean, until somebody actually keyed it in, started it, and showed me the odo reading, nobody would believe that bike was actually ridden. Like it was it was that well maintained, and it had a ton of chrome. So Mumbai climate, and me being from Mumbai, knowing how it impacts metal and chrome and all, I was not fond of it. But I saw it, and then that night I was sitting. We were sitting at dinner, and they said that this is on sale. The price tag looked good, and then it was an impulse decision. I said, "Forget it. Let's just pick it up. We'll see what to do with it." Like, it was just so impulsive. And the next day, I first went to the RTO to pick up my learner's license.
Oh God, okay.
From there, I rushed to the showroom. I had already spoken to the GM at the time and said that, please hold the motorcycle for me. I'm good for my word, and I'm going to come and pick it up. And when I reached there were a bunch of people all ready to buy that particular bike. And I went, I gave my money, everything, and I said, they were so disappointed and upset. This nobody girl with a learner's license walks in and picks up a T100 motorcycle. And I don't know what to do with it. I was just completely stumped, wondering, am I doing the right thing? What have I just done? That kind of stuff. And I didn't know how to ride it.
Which was mine,
I didn't know how to ride it.
Yeah.
I was frightened of the very thing I put all my savings on. And then, but I was happy that I was like, I've ticked it off. It doesn't matter what color, shape, whatever it looked, I ticked it off. I wanted this motorcycle. I remember I had 100 and something rupees in my account, and I was like, if I take the metro, if I, tide it out for the rest of the month, I'll eat dabba every day from home, just doing, I'll be fine,
The struggle started then.
It started right then and there. Don't have any gear, nothing, just one half-faced helmet, like open-face helmet. I said, I've picked up a motorcycle, I'm happy. And Abir rode the motorcycle. I sat pillion. First, I was very happy. Then we leave the showroom and we are going, and it's a beautiful, nice, striking orange color, really eye-catching. And I got upset with myself. I said, you did all this and you're not riding that motorcycle. Somebody else is riding it home for you. So we took it home in the month of June 2016. Obviously rains. So not the wisest time to learn how to ride a bike in Mumbai on I think a 230 kilo motorcycle. Bad idea. But we took it home, and I was telling myself, focus on the positive. You got the motorcycle, you spent all your money and everything. My father was stumped. And like every father, itne paise mein gaadi le sakte the. Because we had a garage and we
needed more wheels.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he was like, what is it about this motorcycle? What is this obsession? What about, he just couldn't put head or tail of it. And the thing is, I didn't have the right answer. So I also could not give a rational answer and, really defend myself. I was like, just look at the bike.
That's so intriguing because, it's not like you were riding, you knew how to ride, and then you wanted this motorcycle.
Exactly.
It just came to you out of nowhere.
And people I had spoken to, I had given my riding test. Actually, Imandari said I did a test also on a Duke 250 or something, borrowed from a friend. He revived it from the dead just for me. Everyone told me, stick to a 150cc, get a Splendor, get a small displacement motorcycle, get your basics ironed out. Get a Duke. Okay, you don't want to get a Splendor and get a Duke and all. But for me, that shiny motorcycle was stuck in my head, and it was the solution to all my problems. I just didn't want to spend. I didn't have disposable income to go and buy a learning motorcycle. My irrational self just needed that Bonneville. That's it. So we got that motorcycle. We put it at home, and then of course it's our first premium motorcycle between us. So Abir is riding it everywhere. I'm getting angrier and angrier and angrier and just watching it, sitting pillion, sitting on it in the garage just for the sake of it. Yeah. Can't even take it off the side stand because it's so heavy. All this stuff. But slowly we started riding it on. I have this sort of a private road or back road, we used to call it in Malad, where I stayed. And I used to take just circles over there and think that I've achieved the world by just going around on it. So really, it is deceptively powerful, that motorcycle. And you don't have ABS, traction, nothing. It's really raw motorcycle, raw power, and you need like depth skills and handling and everything to go. So I rode it I started riding it as a frightened person. And I picked up a lot of bad habits there because you are just constantly riding it as a defensive rider. You're not really riding it as a comfortable. I'd see a speed breaker, it would throw me off. I'd see a pothole, which is very generously distributed in Bombay, and it would throw me off. So I'm not enjoying the process anymore. This motorcycle is too much bike for me. But I have a Bonneville, that
correct.
It just stuck in my head.
Yeah, and so, you work towards buying it.
Yeah.
You put
I'm a proud owner of a Triumph motorcycle.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all that mattered. Everything else was irrational. Every advice was irrational. I didn't really care about it. But that's where it started.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then were you like a tourer, or did you do long rides like how typically people are doing nowadays with their new machines? At what point did it get into the stuff you're doing right now, like off-road and different motorcycles, a different ideology altogether?
Right. So I started riding a little bit here and there. I always needed somebody to be with me when riding because, to be very honest, the weight of the motorcycle was on my mind all the time, always. And it's laughable now. Even I can laugh at myself. But on that motorcycle also, I tiptoe. Both my feet touch the ground. But for me, that was a tall motorcycle at that time.
All right.
So I was like, oh, this is a tall bike. It's a heavy motorcycle. It's 900cc. Like it was all too much for me at the time.
Very overwhelming for it to be
very
your first
overwhelming.
Motorcycle.
Exactly. And rightfully so.
Yeah.
And so it was a disconcerting feeling because my feet are not planted. I had ridden an Avenger in between for one of my very first trip, and the Avenger is much lower. And everyone told me, this is the motorcycle you should have bought and all. But I said, no. My Bonneville is the best bike on this planet. So I started riding a little bit more. At some point, because I used to come to Pune often over the weekend, I used to come meet friends, I used to hang out and everything and all. And back then, Pune was not as, I would say, crowded, traffic, etc. so much, So I liked that relaxed weekend vibe. I liked the empty roads, It was very different back then. I was like, in this environment, I can learn to ride. So I took a transfer of my job, packed up my bags and everything and all, and I moved to Pune, thinking this will magically solve all my problems and I'll become a motorcyclist overnight.
To intercept that thought, what do you do? What's your job?
So I work in life sciences. I work in clinical drug development. In layman's terms, it's research and development and clinical trials for drug discovery.
Oh,
so that's what I do.
Awesome. I'll come back to that later. So carry on.
That puts fuel in my bike and buys me bike parts. So that's great.
Yeah.
But I moved to Pune, and I made it a mission that I would ride. And believe it or not, even to ride a scooter at that time was quite a task, because I was doing too many things at once. I bought a scooter. I said, okay, I'll commute to work every day. That'll build my confidence in traffic. And then I'll ride the motorcycle on the weekend and all. I was just trying to hasten the process of catching up, of getting to the confidence and the smooth flow and the enjoyment that my very small circle of friends had on their bikes. I was still a nervous wreck. I was still, like 40 kmph, crawling, slow. For me, that was achievement enough, but I was getting a little annoyed with my progress. And you can't do that. I was just, you can't push the process. You can't just jump on a motorcycle and in 2 months, be where these guys are. So I every weekend, every possible weekday or whatever, small spins here, there, neighborhood or whatever, that's what I did. And I used to live in Pashan. So from Pashan to Triumph, the showroom, the Pune showroom was about, I'd say 5 kilometers thereabouts.
Roughly, yeah.
So I started small. I said, okay, you know what, go to the showroom and come back. Like, do small things, go around a circle, go over a speed breaker. It really was that rudimentary and basic for me. So I started with that. Then we wanted to start going touring, do a little bit of travel and everything on the motorcycle. But that time what Abhi did was he picked up a second-hand A3 Bonnie, which is the one I actually saw first, which is a smaller wheelbase and the smaller cousin of the T100. Same engine, same mechanics and everything, except the frame is a little smaller. So I liked that bike. I enjoyed that bike. I didn't like the looks of it. It was a white tank. For me, the white tank was a no-go. But he said, learn on that. I mean, he really had to reason and fight with me all the time. So I took that motorcycle, he took the T100, and we started touring. So we did a little bit like, say, coast and back, Goa and back, Lonavala and back. And that's how it started. And then we started really extensively touring over the next couple of years.
Okay.
And I got a hang of it. And initially, it used to be a joke that we would start riding and I would tell him that you go. Just go ahead. You don't have to slow down for me, because I don't want to. I want to be realistic about the traffic conditions. I cannot brake on prompt. I cannot. I'll skid and fall, or all of that. Somebody crossing, and how our traffic situation is. So I said that I want to be reasonable and safe, and I cannot lift this. I could not lift that bike at all. So I said that I cannot lift it or recover it if I do have a spill of some sort, which thankfully I never had.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to rob him of his enjoyment. So I would say, you go ahead and just drop me a pin of where you are. And you take your break and everything, which he used to do.
No, I've experienced that myself. So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. and the worst part is, if it's a straightforward highway, no problem. If he disappears 2 corners, left, right, something, I was like, come on, man, how will I know where you've gone?
Exactly, yeah.
So we started like that. And there were a lot of jokes exchanged between him, my friends and all. We would do a lot of weekend trails. I liked the idea of the weekend trail. Like, I would get excited that we are going to go on a trail. We're going to wake up at 5. We're going to leave at 6 and we'll explore this patch, whatever. As soon as we would get to that trail, my enjoyment has turned into like a bottomless pit. I didn't like it at all. Okay. I did not enjoy the process. I did not like off-road. And when I say off-road, let me be very, very honest. It was just a flat dirt patch. There's no stone, there's no nothing. It's just clear, but it's not tarmac. So that was off-road for me at the time.
Yeah. I know I can relate to that, because I'm not a big fan of off-road either.
Okay.
Although I'm trying to change that now. But whatever bad roads we get as a part of going from A to B, those are off-roads for me.
Bad road is off-road.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I would try to convince myself that, and there were times where if I would see something and I'd be like, you know what, you all go up and come, I'll wait here for you. It's like, no, that won't happen. You have to come with us. So I used to stick my legs out and paddle boat and like duck walk and all kinds of nonsense on that. My pretty T100 should not fall. It should not have a nick or a scratch or anything anywhere. And I somehow would make it. And then so getting from point A to point B and then back, I accomplished it, but I did it poorly and I did not enjoy the process.
Okay.
And then I would convince myself that this is fun. But I really had no skills. Body was closed, and there are days even now, like when you're nervous and you let the terrain take over, you're obsessed about all the wrong markers. But back then it was my single obsession.
Okay.
Just, like I'll go like this, like this, crawl, get stuck in tight corners and whatnot and stuff. So we were touring, it's great. As soon as I see a bad patch, fun's over, holiday's over. It was like that. But we spent many years with me getting over that kind of feeling. I got comfortable to an extent, but I started to realize that this bike is the wrong bike for me. Rather, I knew it, but the realization and the acceptance that this is not the right motorcycle to do all this stuff, it dawned on me because I lack the skills. Let me be very clear. The motorcycle can do everything. I lack the skills, I lack the know-how and the confidence to take that bike wherever it was supposed to go, because the Bonneville has done world tours in some of the worst no roads. People have done incredible things on the motorcycle, but it was not the motorcycle for me.
Okay.
Yeah, for off-road purpose and all. So yeah, we started from there touring, and very, very soon I gained a lot of confidence enough that we would be on the comms, and then he's like, slow down, no need to race, you don't need to go those speeds, you're being a little too dangerous. And I like that because it used to boost my confidence for all the wrong reasons.
Amazing.
Yeah,
very interesting. So from there, cut to you doing these drills and off-road trainings. Was that or rather is that to prove that older self of yours that no, I've done this, now I have to prove myself wrong, or just to prove a point to yourself? Is that why you jumped into what you're doing right now?
Actually, there was one, I just remembered, there was this one instant that changed it for me. We were this close-knit circle of friends. So I never rode in a big group or anything like that. It was always just Abir, myself, maybe two other friends who, mind you, were extremely instrumental in getting me out of my shell, making sure that I was riding and I was overcoming fears or anything that was uncomfortable. Abir used to ride in the front sometimes and then disappear around the corner, but these guys used to be behind and they're like, no, you carry on in the front, I'm there in case you know. So with very this is pre-touring, with very poor riding, the resume being practically blank, we decided, all of us, to club our corporate holidays and go for a nice trip to where all of us have to go, which is your Manali and your Leh and your Khardungla, etc.
The pilgrimage.
Exactly. We must do it. So this was in 2017, I think. Yeah. And August month, we clubbed all our holidays together, all of us, and we were 4 of us. One friend was riding down from Chennai, and the rest, me, Abir, myself, and another friend. We were traveling from Pune. We shipped the A3 Bonnie to Chandigarh, I think, and my friend also shipped his motorcycle. And I was very adamant. I said that I will ride the Bonnie over there. And everyone said that this is a recipe for disaster. You have not even ridden from Pune to Lonavala and back. Okay. Riding the Bonneville over there in that terrain, in those, elevations and conditions and everything and all. There's a reason why it's difficult, or why everybody, navigates and wants to go over there. You've not even done, like, literally. And this was like a month and a half prior. So excitement takes over ambitiousness, a degree of foolishness. So I said, okay, we'll go to Lonavala every weekend. We'll go here, we'll go there and everything. And all the hairpin bends, I fell. All of them, all right? And in my head, I'm like, that's okay, this is practice. Over there, I'll get it.
Okay,
I did that, okay? And then Abhi told me that, and my friends also told me, listen, go there, rent a motorcycle, rent something simpler, something easier, something you can enjoy. And I rented an Avenger. I don't remember the model of the Avenger, but it was the one where the foot peg or the rest is in the front. So
I think they're all like that.
No,
No?
some of them are
Okay, under your
like a
knee.
normal set, and this one was in the front,
All right.
and it was a brand new motorcycle from the vendor. So I got there, and I was very unhappy, but I was like, you know what, let's just do this. So I took the motorcycle and quickly realized, or rather was humbled into my place of how technical it is. It was actually not tough. Like today, if you ask me, it's a breeze. But you ask the person back then, I was like, what did I get myself into? You know, should I just rent a car? Should I just ditch the idea? But then I was also very adamant that what I started, I cannot give up. I am like that, sometimes to my own detriment. So we started riding. It rained. It was thick fog. It was slush. I had never ridden those conditions before. This was unlike anything I'd experienced.
No, that terrain really pushes you.
Yeah. And but I had prepared myself, like people talk about altitude sickness, endurance, this, that, and all. So I prepared myself for a month or two in advance. I would go, do cardio, fitness, swimming, this, that, and all. That way I was top notch. So no problem there. Then you come sit on the motorcycle and do the task. And I was stuck in places. I was slow. I was extremely nervous. And basically my weekend ride, nervousness times 5. Now it's no longer, you're not going home. You are now going from destination to destination. It's a planned route. So you have to finish it. You don't have a choice. And nobody's coming to ride your motorcycle for you because they have to do their riding as well.
Correct.
So everybody took off. Everybody went away. And at that time, I felt very abandoned, but I'm glad they did that because that's the only way I got myself out of there.
Right.
Telling myself nobody's coming to rescue you. There are only strangers. And of course, a lot of parts that time were empty. So I was like, how long are you going to stew here? Till darkness? Because that's going to be even worse. So that's how I got through. We stopped at one place. We stayed the night. I did not say a word, but everybody knew that I was extremely nervous. I was not happy. I was like, well, how much worse can it get? I was not enjoying the journey,
Right.
honestly. And then what happened was, I think it was in Jispa. There was a tempo traveler from Kashmir, commercial driver, and this gentleman had been watching me from point to point. So he was hired by a bunch of, I think, Czech cyclists. They were doing this entire from Himachal, Spiti, the entire route up to Khardungla. They were cycling, and the tempo was for to load the cycles and,
right.
or pick them up, drop them to hotels and all. But otherwise, he was just basically their liaison
Correct.
point.
Like a backup truck.
Yeah. So he took it upon himself to guide me and be with me. So he was like, even because many times he had seen me alone. So he was like, even if these guys go ahead, no problem, I'm there. You don't have to be worried. I'm always there to watch you. And the boys took that as a green light and passport and visa to leave me and disappear. It came to such a head that they actually left me one day behind.
What do you say?
Yeah, with this Chacha. I remember him. His image will never go away.
Godsend.
Yeah, he was a godsend. And with him, I passed actually the next couple of days till we got to Leh. And he would cook food for me. He would stop me for hydration and this, and keep asking me, and then also say, "Ye karne ki zarurat hai kya?" Like, And then once I remember couple of times I would tell him, "Okay, I'm going off. You come whenever you want." He's like, "Nahi beta, it's dangerous. It gets narrower. It gets like this." I'm like, "No, I'm fine. I'm confident now." And I reached Tanglangla Pass, and it had the snow had melted, and also the road was wet, and I fell twice. I slipped and I fell. Nothing happened. I was fine, but the mirror broke, and that prompted me to start crying right there. So I cried a lot. I stopped. Some people came, they helped me. I put the motorcycle and I decided to sit right by the mountain and just cry. For no reason, just cry.
That's because you got a scratch on the bike. You were determined to not get a scratch on it at all.
Actually, everything caught up with me.
Yeah.
I was like, you loser.
Yeah.
I was so hard on myself. And I cried. I was really upset with myself and for being left behind and, like a stranger's take. It was overwhelming. And I was like, this feeling should never, ever come back again, ever. So from there on, the route got much easier. Then I went down. So that was like the tough part at the time. The Chacha had realized I was crying. He was upset that I was upset. Then he played foo for me again. But we traveled together till Leh. And then he handed me over to the boys. I gave him a piece of my mind. And then from there, our journey was much, much more enjoyable and smoother and everything and all. And then we made it back and we ended the trip. But that moment stayed with me. And I said, I really never want to feel that vulnerable, that helpless, or that unprepared. And I blame myself for that because it was too ambitious to go riding when you've not had any experience whatsoever. I did it, but not, effectively. Not enjoyably. There was such beautiful scenery. There was so much to enjoy and appreciate over there.
I completely feel you.
Yeah. And I just messed it up for myself for no reason.
Yeah.
Okay. So that moment stuck with me. And then when I came back, I was like, okay, be clear. You want to tour? You want to do off-road? What do you want to do? But do it and be happy about it.
But it's good that you always wanted to still be connected to a motorcycle in some way.
Yes. I didn't want to abandon that at all. So we did that trip. We came back. Everybody had a good laugh. They got a piece of my mind and everything and all. And then one of my friend Ashwit, he felt really bad about rushing to Leh ahead of me and all. So he said, "I'll help you. Don't worry." So we used to do Pune Bombay trips, and Ashwit works with motorcycle brands. He used to work with Kawasaki, and he's gone to international racing tracks, and also he has a deathly control on speed. And when we did the first Mumbai-Pune trip, so I gave him a hard time and I said that you leave me on the highway just like you did in the mountains. And I guilt-tripped him terribly. When we reached Bombay and he said, "Acha kiya, but that is the slowest I've ever ridden to Bombay." So I said, no problem. Because then I wanted to, it's a very simple thing, but my aim was to ride from Bombay back to Pune by myself, alone. Again, I was like, are you doing something foolish, getting over, blah, blah, blah. But I said, no, just do it. What's the worst that can happen? Can you tackle the worst outcome of this and all? So stay in your lane, maintain all your traffic, this thing.
But that would be nothing compared to, the whole road and whatever you went through.
Yeah, but still, now I've done all foolish things. Now I've come back to become smarter. Be smarter. So I came back and then I was like, now let me do baby steps. Let me do small things and all, and finally get on the right path.
All right.
So that's where I fixed it. And after that, I started touring extensively.
Okay.
Which boosted my confidence quite a lot.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So that amazing story in its place to what you're doing right now. In terms of your drills and your daily practice. And can you tell me a little bit more about what the practice is all about, what happens over there, and the whole drill that you go through every now and then? So
I started riding off-road as a training, as actually learning when I met Ashish. And I was like, okay, there is a technique to it.
It began with him. So he's been with you since day one of you picking that up.
But actually prior to him, I had even taken a session, 2 sessions with Brett Tax. He's, off-road guru and mostly on the GS. Very, very simplified. And I didn't know who Brett Tax was. But my friend circle grew, the motorcycling community grew. Everybody who knew me were aware that I wanted to really polish myself in the off-road riding skills. Just get my basics right. I didn't want to do anything great with it. Just get my basics right enough that I can ride a motorcycle, like I said, without this thing.
Yeah. Next time you go to Leh Ladakh, you're going to be the one leaving the boys behind.
Let's not even go there. Something new will come up. So a lot of folks were talking about Brett Tax coming to India. And I didn't know who he was, but everybody was like, listen, he's coming, he's going to be taking a session, invest in it, do your basics with him. So I said, okay, fine, everyone is saying it, I'll do it. And I rented a Himalayan, and it was very last minute. It was a really, really battered Himalayan, but I got a motorcycle. I went. It was in Pune actually, and I was the only girl in the group. All the guys were there, and I still remember it was so clear. So the Moto park is like it was a very small place, a little plain patch, enough for everybody to just squeeze in, and then there were like hills, levels. So Brett Tax comes, introduces himself, etc., etc. Okay, guys, we'll start with the basics. Let's go. And just as I'm about to go, now the Himalayan is a tall bike for me. I tipple right there. Okay, I fall right there, and I'm embarrassed. But I tell myself, no, you're here to learn. So Brett calls everybody back. Guys, everybody come back here. Okay, I'm going to skip to a couple of chapters forward and let's do bike recovery. So,
Okay. All right.
so then he tells me, thank you so much. We'll use this as an opportunity. And that broke the ice for me. So from there, I got a little bit more comfortable. I started doing the drills and, just basic. And I used to fall back because I felt a little intimidated. All the guys were there. I didn't want to hold anyone back. People had come with tigers and everything and all. But the boys were so wonderful, because if like they did 3 rounds and I just got like say 1 in, so they were like, no, you go. You need to still do 2 more. Get used to it. We'll keep going round and round, but you go. You're not getting in anyone's way. You're here to learn. And they were very accommodating. Like I thought that somebody will get annoyed or
Lose patience.
impatient or something, but it was not the case.
Right.
I really appreciated that they created this wonderful learning environment, and that made coming back on day 2 much more comfortable. Like I look forward to it. So it started with that. Then there was a big gap, and I was just doing now I'm Brett Tax graduate basics.
Oh my God.
Thinking no end of myself, coming back on the body, back to doing the exact same rubbish, but a little bit more refined.
Refined rubbish.
Refined rubbish, yes. And then all the guys, oh, you've trained and come and everything, 2 days, okay. So, but at least I was not zero. And then Brett Tax came back, I think 2 years later or something like that. And there was another training. Again, I got a Himalayan. Again, I met him. And this time it was a little bit more advanced. So the first one, we had done it in 1 patch, 1 space, 2 days. The second one, we did the training in 1 ground somewhere in Kamshet. And after that, we were riding out.
Okay.
And we had gone to Rajmachi. And I remembered Rajmachi, and I was like, oh, this is not going to work. But I went. And again, the group was wonderful. And I remember we were going down this sort of sandy patch. But back then I made it sound like as if it was the desert itself. Okay. And we are on street tires and whatnot. And you do the nonsense panic braking and thinking that you are controlling the motorcycle, but you're making it worse for yourself. So I fell once or twice and whatnot. But suddenly all the falls and all the fails didn't deter me so much. It was like, okay, get up, dust off. No more of this anxious feeling. And I was very conscious of that. I'm getting very comfortable with this. This feels good. Nothing to...
Comfortable with the falls.
Yeah, falls and wins and fails and, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was not unnerving. It didn't make me feel, I want to go back home right this moment. None of that. So I liked that. I enjoyed that feeling. And then after that, again, now I'm second, level 2 graduate from there, thinking more end of myself. But definitely built my confidence to an extent, started going out on more trails and whatnot. Then I realized I want something more fun, from a motorcycle. And then there was a lot of talk of an anticipation of the KTM adventure bike. First year, second year, a lot of people were waiting and all. And then finally they launched the ADV. And I saw it at IBW and I got on it. I was like, this is a very tall motorcycle. I can't get on it. This is out of the question. But then just like I bought the Bonnie, I was like, खरीद लेते हैं, देखते बाद में क्या होता है. Yeah, that was my, that was like, we'll see it, we'll manage. It will work. It'll all work out. And I purchased it in January. I picked up the bike, and I remember around that time or slightly a couple of months prior to that, I had met Ashish. He and Abir were working on something together, and through that association, I was there. I watched him with great marvel, like the kind of things he was doing, the control, the speed, the deftness, everything on, it was very smooth. And the part where I said you are riding the motorcycle, that motorcycle is not riding you. And I saw that live in front of me. I'd seen other people ride well, but I paid attention here, and it looked so smooth and so fun. And there was a shoot he was doing for one of the, I think it was a scrambler or some motorcycle, I can't remember, but it was in a track near Kharadi. And I had gone with the Bonnie just to watch, do nothing else. And he gave me my first lesson over there. He said, come here. And there was a slope, and he said, yeah, right down that. And I said, in my head, I'm thinking, they lost his marbles or something, but I'm not doing this, not on this motorcycle. And but I didn't question him or try to talk back or something. I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's see. There are so many people here. What's the worst that can happen? So I went down. Oh, okay, it's not that bad. And then, we just did a few A's, played around a little bit and all. But that was my first lesson with him. And after that, I think he was occupied with his Dakar preparations, and, lockdown happened, a lot of things happened. But I was enjoying the 390 ADV, that motorcycle. I finally understood what it feels like to be on an adventure bike, which is purpose built for touring, for off-road. It doesn't feel as heavy and, just like a pull down for me personally. And I started to enjoy the bike, going on trails and whatnot. So it was good. But now I want to upskill even more. And then, Ashish was exploring opening an academy or opening a forum or a space to start teaching off-road skills and basics and whatnot and all. And then we were exploring what is now the OPR track.
Yeah.
And I remember going there the first time it had rained. I had gone on the 390 ADV. The track that you saw during Rallyscape was us having ridden and, basically outlined it with all our riding.
Okay.
But when we first went there, it was nothing but a hill with grass patch and rocks and everything.
Correct.
So I remember standing at the bottom. I was like, I hate this guy. Why does he have to pick? And he's so far away, but he heard me.
Oh, God.
I heard you. And then I went up there, and then we rode. And during those couple of months, like, I would just follow him blindly around. I'd fall. And then one thing that was different was that I watched and learned. And also, there was no mollycoddling. So previously, if I ever had a fall or I didn't like something or I wanted to throw a tantrum, if you want to call it that, people would come, solve the problem, ride it through a patch, etc., etc. Here, none of that is happening. You want to learn, you have to learn everything, the whole 360. So when I fell, I had to recover my own motorcycle. Nobody's coming running to pick up my motorcycle. I did that. Okay, you had a fall. Great. Now pick up and continue. You've not broken anything, right? You're not grievously injured. And I liked that. I like a little bit of physical challenge or like difficulty. And I made fun of for it a lot. But I liked that. And it picked up from there. And then he was doing a shoot. And he asked me to just bring his 450 Enduro, KTM Enduro. For me, dirt bikes were too far-fetched at the time. I was like, this is a, what do you say? This is a privilege or an elite sport and an elite motorcycle, and that space is not for me. I don't like dirt bikes. I don't like the look of it. It's not for me. I'm happy with my... So first it was Bonnie and everything else looks crap. Then it was the ADV, and I'm like, now everything else looks crap. Then it was the dirt bikes, and it was not crap, but it was like, this is not for me.
Okay.
It's not my jam.
Out of your league.
Yeah. I will never be able to ride it. That's it. Now, nor do I want to ride it.
What do you ride now then? On the track, you must be riding one of those bikes only.
I have a KX250.
Okay.
Which is a motocross bike, a dirt bike.
All right.
So even that I put up a lot of resistance. So he told me, just bring that motorcycle from there to here. It must have been like maybe 50 meters. I don't know what. And I was like, is he joking? But he took off. He just asked me to bring the motorcycle. He took off. How I got on, and then I'm like, wow, this feels amazing. It's so narrow, the grip, and this is a great feeling sitting so elevated, and the suspension, and I mean, it was so comfortable. And then as I was inching closer to him, I was like, how do I stop? I don't know how to stop on a tall motorcycle. Somebody had helped me get on it. Now I don't know how to get off. And then they saw me, so somebody came and held the bike, and I got off. So there was a photographer on the track, and very brilliant guy, and he had taken a very candid shot of me after I got off the motorcycle, thinking, my God, what did I just ride? And I have that photo as a reminder, which is
damn nice.
I treasure that. But that's it. That's all it took. And from there, we are here.
Amazing.
Where I looked at motorsport. I looked at so a lot of the motorsports is very you have to start very early. You want to build basic skills, and you want to, like your junior championships and this and that and all. That's the right way to go.
Yeah, I want to know
fundamentals. You start on a small, like a 50cc or 65cc motorcycle, and then you grow from there. You outgrow that bike. You outgrow the skills and all. I see some of the young kids. I saw them at Big Rock Dirt Park, yay high and tiny tots, but they have no concept of fear. They're just enjoying full gas, hands, legs, little fingers holding the throttle and everything, but they're just enjoying it. And then they tipple over, no problem, get up, just like how we did in a playground, right? We brush it off and everything, and we carry on.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to see that growing now in India. So we've had kids come to our track. I've actually seen one or two of the boys who participate in national championships now. They were like this short on the small bike. Then I see them like maybe a year later, and they're taller. They've now graduated to a bigger bike, and first they were doing only dirt. Now they're doing motocross, and parents are very invested in it, which is again such a beautiful thing to see, because it's not a wayward sport. It's not like considered a waste of time and money. Like there's time, money, energy, and a lot of it invested, and the parents are encouraging it. They are running and servicing these motorcycles, traveling for races, scheduling it with their work and their personal commitments. It's a family involvement, because your nutrition, your fitness, recovering from injuries.
Yeah, everything matters.
Yeah,
right?
setbacks, and also it's not that one man, effort. It does take somebody holding the fort down at home, and your family traveling with you, and moral support.
Yeah,
and all
it's
that jazz.
everything. I think it's a lifestyle shift. It's
exactly
whole families get involved, like
absolutely.
You said. But speaking only of the bikes, is it expensive maintaining these bikes? Is it tough?
It's not tough. Coming from me, but it is, you have to, it's a discipline, just like you would ride the motorcycle every weekend and you're building on it. You as much as you ride, that much you have to maintain it. That is why when I started training at OPR with Ashish, I had started on a X-Pulse 2V with the rally kit. And in the beginning, I thought the rally kit was overkill because it's tall. But then I quickly learned that it was the best thing for me, because I had to learn how to ride the bike through traffic and take it back and all. But it's a road legal motorcycle. It's lower powered, and it's not a
So the one that you ride is not road legal. You can't.
That's not a road legal. And really liked the enduro format. I still love the enduro motorcycles. My dream is to have a 450 enduro motorcycle. I will register it and it'll be my bike and I'll tour it.
You'll do
and
it.
I think
You'll do it.
I will. I'm
What
sure
happened
I
with
will.
the Bonnie? What happened with the KTM?
Exactly.
It's good.
So I know I'll have it at some point, but now, as you may be seeing the market, manufacturers are opening it for dirt bikes.
Mhm.
Now it's no longer your street and your sports and your ADV. Now Kawasaki, KTM, we just saw Ultraviolet, launching the dirt format. So markets are opening up, demand has come, people are open to the idea of owning and riding such motorcycles. So, but again, I was like, it's nice to see. It's nice to know somebody who rides it. It's a great privilege for me to get to ride somebody's motorcycle and have that experience. But I don't want to own one because it's not. I mean, the motorcycle is not road legal. It's too much maintenance. You really have to be on your toes with it. Otherwise, it of course it's going to throw back at you what you are not really doing. And I was like, I don't have that kind of commitment. I don't have that kind of money. I don't have a truck to transport the motorcycle because I used to live in Pashan. So I was like, you can't ride that dirt bike on the road and all that. So my mind was just shut and closed to the idea of a dirt bike. And then, of course, come on, Priyanka, you must. It's an excellent concept. You will learn better. Your learning curve will be better. Come on. No, I will not. Sell the Bonnie, sell this, sell that. You're not riding those bikes anymore. You're not touring anymore. So just buy a dirt bike. No, it's not for me. And then Ashish and Veer had gone to the Kawasaki showroom to collect another motorcycle. They were taking delivery of it. And then Abir, up until that point, who was like, please don't get into all this stuff. It's not for you and all that jazz. It actually looks very nice, And literally standing there, I was like, oh, darn it. And I paid the booking amount. Like, it was spur of the moment.